Okay, was interrupted. So I had to start this video over again. Anyway, people are just anyway. Anyway, so what I was wanted to talk about was the fact that I wanted to chemicals. I think people do not understand that what we use, what we eat, all these chemicals are what's at the root of a lot of what is going on as far as thyroid issues, issues within the endocrine system, which also affects the hormones, cancers, and all this. What you put on your skin, what you put inside of your body, if it is not natural, what is natural, anything that doesn't spoil, it has a shelf life that's in the freezer usually. Processed food, canned food isn't good for you either because of what's in the lining of the cans. Okay, so there's information that is coming out of places like the National Institute of Environmental Health that are saying that basically having prolonged exposure to a lot of these chemicals is what is causing a lot of what's going on. And they're also saying that a lot of this gender, with regards to gender, they said that, because, and this is, I'm not a doctor, so, I mean, he got really into, like, I was listening to, like, NPR one day, and they were talking about the mother, a woman, a pregnant woman has up to 43 chemical contaminants in her system. Babies are being born pre-polluted. What Dr. Carpenter said struck me. He said, you know, that basically a lot of these chemicals that are in the environment and that we use, it's changing, mutating, basically the fetuses in the womb, and what he said, quote, that result in boys wanting to play with dolls instead of toy guns, end quote. Okay, so what does that tell you? That means that there's things happening in the womb, and I don't know why a lot of these, hoteps and all these, they don't never want to touch that. They always want to blame the black woman for the reason for everything. Just like in the 80s, they said the black woman was the reason why, the sons was going out gangbanging and selling crack. But I digress. Anyway, look, a lot of this stuff is not federally regulated. And then you really can't trust the FDA even if it is, because 1 minute the shit's good, then all of a sudden at 2 o'clock in the morning you sitting at home bored, and all of a sudden the infomercial comes on about some lawsuit, and you maybe if you had the shits, or whatever, please call this number. This is a lawsuit because you done took this Viagra. That been recalled. That's the one that pops in my head. But anyway, they also said that you know, a lot of people who live in poor areas, that live around industrial areas, freeways and things like that, they're more susceptible to a lot of the environmental chemicals. So the shit that's in the air and air quality and all that other stuff. Who most poor people, they said, are mostly the people who are susceptible to that stuff, and who are poor mostly, in this country, black people. So there's other poor people. I don't want people like, oh, what you poor, but by number, as far as African Americans, and like I said, I don't know why people don't want to touch on this, but that's why I don't get into all that, race for the cure and all this bullshit, because I think that a lot of these companies already know it's out there. And you got to understand too that you're going to have a lot of misinformation. A lot of these companies that have these products that they know are not good for you, they have the money to actually, put up marketing to on websites and information, and pay doctors off to discredit a lot of this information that's coming out about their products and about certain chemicals and certain ad ad or add-ons or whatever you want to call it that they're putting into the food, the scents, fragrances, shampoos, Like I was saying, that's why, it's talking about the deodorant causing certain cancers, perms causing certain, cancers and tumors and things like that. A lot of the stuff that we're using is not healthy. It's not organic. And we see a lot of those that pay attention. The bees are gone. You have like fish are fucked up. They, three-headed fish and all these different little weird abnormalities and mutations and things like that. So all these other things, plants and animals. But we somehow feel like we're not a part of this system. Like somehow we feel like we don't think like we're not included. So why would why would you not think that our industrial age and technology, all of that will catch up to us, and our need for these things, or these things being pushed to us. Like these companies is killing us, then marketing to us the products that they, that they're killing us with, and then we kill others for the products, and it's just a big mess. But I just really wanted to drive home the point that a lot of what is going on is due to a lot of the chemicals that we are being exposed to, and a lot of stuff is around us in our homes. Like I said, shampoos, lining of the cans, processed food, fragrances, body lotions. All these things they market to us is killing us, and it's also causing a lot of the gender specific behavior abnormalities. Boys looking like coming out the womb more feminine in their bone structure and their, all of that, and then wanting to feeling like that they are women. And when you put two and two together, you start to do your own research, and you come to, they're saying these things like, okay, well, and they have them break it down. It's like, okay, it makes sense to why a person would really feel like that, because there's, it's shit's all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And the doctor was saying a lot of that stuff is, once it happens in the womb, that is irreversible. So, and that's to jump off. And that's so while I'm on here, I'll also say that, hey, you know what? We either, people who have an issue with transgender, so we either are going to stop our lust for gluttony and materialistic things, and stop this perpetual materialism that we have. We have to have these objects, and then we have to work, and no one's wanting to cook, and this, for who at the top, these 1% people, I don't know, what I'm saying, like this type of way in which we are living, and we want, it's not natural. None of it is. Because if it's so as above, it is below. You can tell it's not natural. It's not natural. Look at what's happening. It proves what's happening in nature. It's not natural. None of it is. None of it is. And so until we stop, and unfortunately, sadly, I think that only way we will stop this course of action on this course of path is if there's a reset event that resets everything. Okay, that means it stops, life as we know it, in the way in which we live it will cease. Okay, and so, whether that be however, war, something hitting this planet or whatever, because I just don't feel like we will just say, what, hey, until we on our last tree. And, I don't know. But babies are coming out fucked up. Okay, do your own research. Stop listening to these fucking hoteps, and because they're only telling you what they want to tell you to fit their narrative, things that fit for them and they trying to do their little hustle.